Hello, my name is Nick, and this is Zumb's travel blog. Today I will be talking about the city I'm living near in Germany. It's Munich, or auf Deutsch, München. I will be talking about some of the highlights that I think are good, cool places to visit there. So first off, we have the Deutsches Museum. This is my personal favorite, though I'm an engineer nerd, and it's a science and technology museum. It is absolutely massive. I spent 2 full days there, and I think I saw pretty much everything in those 2 days. But also, right now, half the museum is closed for renovations. So if you're going there in 2 to 3 years, then you won't ever run out of things to do there. It's a pretty standard science and technology museum. It has stuff on sonar, radiology, it has music, instruments, bridges and hydraulics, all sorts of stuff. They also have two satellite museums. So in the city, there's two more museums. They're much smaller. One that I did go to was on transport, so there's a lot on cars and trains. And that was cool. And another one, which I didn't end up getting to, is on airplanes. Another really cool thing in Munich is the Olympic Park. It was built in 1972 for the Summer Olympic Games in Munich, and the city has turned it into pretty much just this massive park with a bunch of sporting areas. It also has some museums, an aquarium, and lots of other things that like arena and hall and everything. So there's nearby and kind of in the area, there's this place called BMW World, which is basically just like a really fancy car selling place. It's weird and not really worth anything. But there's also the BMW Museum, which is a museum all about BMW and its history, which is pretty cool, though I didn't love it. I also went there for a concert, so in the Olympic Hall, I went to see Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in German with a live studio orchestra, which was cool, but the acoustics in the Olympic Hall weren't great, so it kind of defeated the whole point of going to see a live orchestra if they were just being recorded and pumped through speakers in the arena. So I don't think it was entirely worth it, but a cool idea. There also was, in this park, there was a festival area where there's this place called Tollwood Festival. It happens, I think, every year in June and July. It has some music and arts and crafts and food. It's just kind of cool place that I just kind of wandered into. Another big part of Munich is the historic Old Town. I would say it's centered around Marienplatz, which is this plaza. It's also like an S-Bahn and U-Bahn station. And when you come out of the station, you get face to face with the Neues Rathaus. So this is like the new city hall, still active as the city hall, but you can kind of go in and look around, and it's this really old, pretty building. It has a traditional German restaurant in the middle of it. There's also two really big churches. Just kind of across the whole old town, there's tons of restaurants and little shops, and there's like a market. And another thing in the old town is the Residence Museum. So this is where the royal family used to live, and it's got like their treasury and lots of artifacts, and you can kind of just walk through all the rooms. Kind of all looks the same after like the 10th room, but it's a pretty cool place that you can visit, and it has nice audio tours. Another cool thing in Munich is the Englischer Garten, which is this really big, nice park. Like the Olympic Park is like very much just like plains of grass, though it has this giant hill. But this is like what I would think of like a naturey park. You could kind of go on a hike on. It's pretty flat and it's generally well paved. But when I went there in the summer, there was lots of people laying around and just chilling. Lots of bikes. They have these rivers that people will surf in and swim in, even though I don't think you're supposed to. Two kind of big buildings in it is there's a Japanese tea house I was able to go into because it's only open weekend a month, and there's also a Chinese pagoda, which is like around it is a beer garden. So sometimes they have live music there. That was pretty cool. There's also lots of other restaurants, and there's like this lake that you can take like a boat around, and there's restaurants on the lake, and just a really nice park if you just want to go in. Still kind of be in the city, but be able to be in a naturey area. Another thing in Munich is Dachau, which was a concentration camp in World War II. So there's a big memorial and museum there. There's also the Nymphenburg Palace and some other like art museums around the Hauptbahnhof. It's just generally a really nice city, but those are what I would say would be the highlights and what I really enjoyed. So this has been Zumb's Travel Blog.